talk about Liverpool just briefly. Jurgen Klopp's been saying that he knows he's in his role at the moment on past form and what he's achieved with the team in the past rather than what we're seeing from the side right now. What are your thoughts and concerns for Jurgen Klopp's future at the club?
Well, it's sacrilegious to even mention that for me as well, because I'm an incredible fan of Jurgen Klopp. But dangerous times, really dangerous times, because on one hand, I say to myself, okay, you write off the season, right? Because the season's been written off. And we saw that, that's, part of the reason I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and just be careful and listen to it. So it's not just a headline. But, you look at that game against Manchester City, and it reminded me a little bit of that Real Madrid game, right? Where they, in my opinion, quit in the second half. And you don't associate that with Jurgen Klopp in Liverpool, the quitting thing, right? It's one thing to say that Real Madrid or Manchester City are better, but you look at that second half. It could have been, as he said it could have been 5, 6, or 7, even with 10 men, Manchester City could have done that to him. And that's worrisome, right? The reaction from Liverpool in those two particular games, big matches, big teams that Liverpool normally gets up for. Both matches, they led and looked okay. Because against Manchester City, I think that goes still in a way against run of play. It was scored against run of play. So on one hand, I think to myself that they've written the season off, and then I say to myself, Luis Diaz is going to come good, and he's been okay. He's been very good before that, right? Salah's still going to be Salah if you give him players around him, right? He's going to be excellent. I think Nunez is still a very good player that's still learning. He's going to come good, and so is Gakpo. We've seen from time to time the quality of those players. Of course, they're going to buy some players in the midfield and in the back. But then it's the other side, that if the summer doesn't go the right way, they don't get the right players or don't integrate them quickly enough, if the beginning of the next season goes badly, what do you say? Who goes next? What's the problem? And it's going to be Jurgen Klopp. And as sacrilegious as it sounds, he may be the next one to go. And I think he understands that. There's a fine line right now because defensively, it's an absolute mess, right? They need to get a right back. I don't know if they need to push, I was almost thinking about pushing Trent into the midfield. I think England toyed with the idea in the past and because that's just not going to work. It just isn't. You need a good defender. Even Robertson, who's been steady, has been up and down the whole season as well. Midfield, I don't even want to touch because they need a ton of players there. So I think this is an incredible time for Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool, because I think the next 5 or 6 months are going to decide the direction of Liverpool. Are they going to stay with the big boys still? And I'm talking about not, the favorites for the Premier League and favorites for the Champions League, or are they going to be just fighting for top 4 for next 3, 4, 5 years?
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis, and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.